Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Tracy. I am out and about this morning on Saturday, April 18th, and gonna go do my usual, hit up my thrift stores, do errands, stop at the grocery, things like that. Wanted to jump on and give you an update since yesterday. On Friday the 17th, I had my fourth IUI procedure. And so, to my knowledge, we had at least 3 viable eggs for the procedure and initiated the thawing process. This was with a new donor. Levels were good. It did raise a question about just the absolute motility because of what I purchased and trying to make sure that we were within that warranty of the purchase. It was definitely enough to do the procedure. Like, I've been told before that they had to have like a 1 in order to do the procedure, which stands for having basically 1 million viable sperm. And in this case, it had 8. So 8 million viable sperm. I know that sounds like a whole heck of a lot. It was confusing because I purchased what they call a MOT 10, which to our understanding meant that there was to be 10 million motile sperm. However, when reading on their website, the nurse did this for me while I was waiting. She was just making sure, and it's just capped off at 10. So basically, if it's between 5 and 9 is what they guarantee in that process. And so it was definitely worthwhile. She just wanted to make sure that I was getting my money's worth, because if it was outside of, or if it was within the warranty, then I could get reimbursed for that. And I mean, everybody in this process understands just how expensive that is. And so she was trying to due diligence for me to make sure that I had every resource available. It was a nurse that I have chatted with numerous times. It's the one that I feel closest to. It's the one that I feel, or I consider my doctor's direct nurse, is how it felt, because I've talked to her since the beginning. And so I really rely and trust on her. And when we actually got to meet in person yesterday, it was so sweet. I was very excited to put a face to the name and to feel that closeness. It was an emotional procedure for me. It was an emotional day for me. I don't know. I was just in my head about stuff, and so being very emotional. Definitely cried after the procedure. Just very hopeful, and it was so touching to hear. It makes me choked up even now thinking about it. To hear that everybody there is following along with me, and like they're absolutely doing everything that they can, and they were just heartbroken last month whenever we couldn't try. And honestly, I just thought that I was like 1 in 1,000 type patients that they have, because it's a huge facility, and I figured that they probably have a few hundred different persons every week. And to hear that they are that close to my case, and everybody's striving and working so hard to try to see this through to success, just very touching. And so incredibly grateful for all of that. The procedure as normal went through, and so some details. So if you don't want to hear about the exact procedure, it's not graphic by any means, but anyhow, if you're one of our guys and you don't want to hear this or have that mental picture, I get it. But so the procedure, it's so simple, really. They're going to insert a speculum. They're going to make sure that they can see the cervix. They have a vial with a stent, or a syringe with a stent placed on it, which is just plastic tubing. And they're inserting this plastic tubing into the cervix to release the sperm. That's what it is, not to make light of their job, but that's the procedure. And so, it was a good time. I kind of laughing because, everybody does it differently in things. This time, again, rather than the more flexible stint, I had to have the more rigid stint. And that's not a bad thing or anything like that. It did feel different than other times, as I can recall. I think it's because of the more rigid stint, but I did experience more crampy feeling yesterday for sure. And that led, to the full day, not just during the procedure too. You feel it differently. And then afterward, though, you're kind of left with like early feeling of menstrual cramps, just, for most of us women, I think it's just the dull ache of a menstrual cramp. If you could imagine a guy with that dull ache, it'd probably be to where he couldn't stand, but for us, it's probably 6, 7. Oh, there you go, kids. 6, 7. Anyhow, it all went just accordingly yesterday. Still feeling very good, very hopeful. People ask me all the time, well, do you feel pregnant? Or do you feel like it took, and things like that. And I know it's so early. We're just going to be hopeful. I'm going to say yes, definitely. This was the one. I feel it. Let's stay positive. So, during the procedure itself, more things that my guys might not want to hear. So, the nurse, I'm in stirrups and everything, naked from the navel down, and you get a sheet basically that you can have across your lap and everything. And everybody has their own style and thing as they're in there. And once again, this nurse, she's all in, she is in shoulders deep, and doing everything possible to ensure that this is a go. She immediately was like, oh, well, your cervix is like out there and ready, and so clear view of what she had to do. And so getting in there, getting the procedure done, and afterwards they tell you like there's no scientific proof behind it, but we kind of feel like maybe you should just stay here. They, prop your feet up, bend your knees and just prop your feet up on the extension of the table and just relax for a bit. You can get up because there's no scientific evidence that you can't, obviously. But, just take some time and meditate. They call it marinate. And so sit there and marinate for a while and just feel free to go as you're ready, And so I, of course, I had my phone with me. You can't take any video or anything in there, but you can take still photography. So I had taken a picture beforehand. I took a picture afterward of me being emotional. And then I was doing something silly, and I took a picture at that time. And what it was I saw it in a movie where somebody was having this procedure, and afterward they had lifted their legs straight in the air, pointed their toes and sat there like that for a while, and they ended up pregnant afterward in the movie. And so that's what I was doing. Was I had my legs lifted like way up above me, and I even took a picture of my toes and like the ceiling lights and stuff there. And wouldn't you know, I get busted. My nurse softly knocked and walked in to tell me about the warranty and busted me with my legs straight up in the air. And I just said to her, I was like, I immediately put my legs down, and I said, boy, this sure would be awkward if you hadn't just been all up in there. And she and I both laughed about it. And she, of course, was just like, she's seen it all. Like, it's no big deal. I'm sure I'm not the only one that ever had done that. But it was funny, and I share that with you guys. And anyhow, if you follow me on Facebook, I'll probably put the little picture on there. So, Makings of a Mama on Facebook, and I'll probably put my little toe picture up there so that you guys can follow along and laugh and understand that this journey is crazy. It's just crazy. So I got busted. But that's okay. It was funny, and that's definitely something that I'll keep in mind, you know. Other things that I've been up to is I bought a journal, and I'm staying positive about this time and everything. I call it a journal. It's a like a calendar, like an annual calendar with individual days and things, like a planner. And I bought that because I wanted to start documenting like through this process, because I am being positive and saying that we're a success this time. And so I wanted to document like in the pages as if it was a journal. So like, on this day you were conceived, and write little notes and things, and just you know, as I'm going through pregnancy, like, you know, doctor's appointment today, you were this big, or this was the first time we heard your heartbeat, or this was the first time I felt you kick, you know, just things like that. So I've started that, and hopefully it can continue with a successful pregnancy. But I just wanted to jump on here and talk to y'all, and those were railroad tracks. And I will be on here again soon. Now we're just in the 2-week wait. So on Tuesday, I start the progesterone twice daily, once in the morning, once at night. And we will wait to test on May Day, May 1st. Okay? So I will talk to y'all soon. Bye, guys.